They just wanted a home-flavored team, just so they could just go out and have some fun. But then they found out how talented they were when they all got together. And then it was just straight ahead. Just win after win after win.
Incredible athletes. They were all sports stars from high school, and that group sort of kept together. And this team was just built to win. Vonnie Huntley was coached it. He was a long-time baseball player up there. And he just stressed fundamentals, and they were the type of athletes that once they mastered everything, they just kept on being consistent. And then they, after a while, they just refused to lose. You could tell they hated to lose.
We practiced to win, and we played to win, and so we just sort of expected to win. We didn't always, but for the most part we did, and we were winning, but I don't think any of us really knew what we were accomplishing. I certainly didn't until we started to do this, and then Chris wrote his little blurb about us, and it was that, holy cow, we were sort of good, weren't we, you know? And I don't think anybody recognized that.
And we won frequently, but we worked hard for that. When we weren't playing, we were practicing, and we spent an awful lot of time honing our skills together. So, it was something to bring those trophies home and to have the fans be so excited for us, as excited as we were for ourselves. So,
I think probably at that time a lot of people didn't think they wanted to be entertained by watching women play sports in that area, but they immediately became such winners, and they played a very high caliber ball. You know, they were one of the best teams in the province very, very quickly. So I think it generated an incredible local pride.
Winning was their priority, and that's what they would work at. And the personalities, when they practiced, they practiced. There wasn't any fooling around. They were serious about what they were doing. And that's what made them who they are, is because of that strength of bonding, I guess, because it does mean a lot when you're playing a team sport.
the community support was amazing. When we had home games, the sides of the road would be lined with cars. The fences, there would be people lined up along those. When we had a dance, a fundraising dance, the community would come out in droves.
In an area that was very rural at the time, you know, there wasn't a lot of activity in the community. They were a big draw and a big sort of social event, their games.
I remember Phil and Ruth Miller. They were probably in their 70s then. And my goodness, they wouldn't miss a game. They would go wherever they went, they would go.
They traveled everywhere the Shore Shots went. And Phil drove a big Cadillac. And it wasn't a strange sight to see some of the Shore Shots driving the Cadillac with Ruth and Phil in the back seat being chauffeured. And Phil would, if we were on the road, Phil would find some unsuspecting character and bet that, hey, the Shore Shots are going to beat your team. And at the end of the game, Phil would bring his winnings to us, give to our team to defray some of our costs. Now, while he was doing that, Ruth is sitting in her lawn chair with a big floppy hat, and she has this little notebook, and she's keeping score. Every inning, who did what.
We spent a lot of time together, both on the field and off the field. We really became, I think, in a lot of ways, a family. You know, new family members were added throughout the years, and we lost some of them who went off to do other things, but it really did feel like you were achieving things as a member of a big family, headed, of course, by Vonnie and Harry, our two coaches, and Phil and Ruth, our most dedicated fans. They were kind of like the grandparents of our family, I think, and Ruth was everybody's favorite grandmother. She just, whatever you needed, Ruth had in her purse. So
we had great support. As a team, we got along really well. We had two dedicated men, our coach, Vonnie Huntley, and our manager, Harry Miller, who all their spare time and vacation time was centered around us girls. And without them, we wouldn't have had the success we did.
There was a year when they could have gone to nationals. I mean, they arrived at that level. They took everything in the province. But the rule was back in that time that they would only take 8 of the core players, and then they would get other players from the province to make up the team and go to nationals.
Sort of the concept of you take your core team and you add all-stars. And they just wouldn't do it.
Well, what sure shots are you going to leave home when they helped you get where you were? So a team vote was taken, and no, we can't all go. None of us go, so.
We were either all going together or none of us wanted to be a part of it, because our success came about because of all of the players on our team, not individuals. And we didn't think it was fair to arbitrarily decide that these 8 people are going and these others aren't important enough to play. That's not how we saw it at all. We were all instrumental in our success. Every single person who played on the team or had anything to do with the team were part of the fabric of our success.
And the other thing I think that stands out most about it was what it came to represent to the community. You know, obviously it showed another generation of young female athletes, sort of what was possible, that you could move up and become prominent and play at the provincial, maritime or national level, you know, and certainly the sort of trailblazing at that time. But more than that, it also showed that women's sports didn't have to take a back seat, you know, that they could be out front and they could be the outstanding draw in an area, or one of the outstanding draws in an area. And it became very commonplace, you know, that there was no longer any sort of division about, oh, well, I only go watch men's sports, or I only watch sports of a certain caliber. I mean, this was high caliber and very competitive, and people were excited by it.
But I would hope that what really made an impression on everyone who watched us play was our dedication, our commitment to each other and to the team, working together to achieve a goal. I think those are universal goals, not necessarily specific to us, but I think those are lessons that can be shared with anyone, that success is possible, but it takes a lot of hard work and dedication and commitment and support and strength through difficult times, and eventually you'll get times that you get to celebrate and really kind of savor the successes that you've had.
In looking for our information and contacting all of the Sure Shots, those players who weren't part of the core, they impressed me the most with the comments that we had back, 30, 40 years after the fact. Like, they were really proud to be a Sure Shot. So that's sort of heartwarming.
It was such an honor to play for that team. That's really how it felt for me. To be a Sure Shot was amazing. It was sort of like being drafted into the NHL, I guess. And so the fact that this team and these women are being honored by being inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think is it's just wonderful to be a part of it.
2016 East Hants Sport Hall of Fame inductee, the Noel Shore Shots women's softball team.